folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Batman The Doom That Came to Gotham by DC. Now, there is fighting, violence, killing, murder, weird shit, Lovecraftian weird shit, magic, and demons in this one. So, if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Okay, here's the team. This is not a new story. It came out in the early 2000s. It had three issues, apparently. Probably pretty long ones, because this trade paperback is like 160 pages. And I can't remember where I heard about it from, but once I knew that Mike Manola wrote it, or now that I know co-wrote it, I was like, yeah, I'm in. Especially since it would involve Lovecraft too. So I was sold. But it was a bit of a trouble to find this one. I've listed it on my comic shop, but getting the trade was a bit difficult. But luckily for me, DC released a second edition of the trade, so I got that. I'm not particularly picky, and apparently now there's an animated movie. So maybe I should check that one out, perhaps. But yes. Okay, so the story goes like this. We start with a ship going to look for an expedition that has a Cobblepot, the penguin here. So obviously this is Lovecraft combined with Batman. So there's quite a few characters of Batman here. Some are clearly named, others not clearly. I'll get to it soon. Yes, it's a combination. It's Batsy and all of that with Lovecraft. I think it's combining the story of um, like it has elements from the story. Oh, shit, I just read it in a manga not that long ago. It's the one where maybe the one with the Call of Cthulhu's a little bit in here, and then the one where there's that young man who is his uncle gets killed by the the Vows of Cthulhu as well, and he writes about all this, and he's not sure how long he'll live, and basically add other elements as well. So, as I was starting to say, the story starts with searching for an expedition of Professor Cobblepot. And the ones that search for it is Bruce Wayne. And together with him are Alfred, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake. But in here, I suppose he found them along the way and adopted them. Perhaps this is happening in the 1920s. It's 1928. So I'm not sure how they all came together, but yes, they work with Bruce. They go for the expedition. Bruce tells them to search the ship while he goes off board and looks around, and then he sees a figure. He sees the penguin or Cobblepot, and he follows him into a cave. Or at least he goes into a cave and he finds one of the missing crew of the expedition. Who I think he's supposed to be Mr. Freeze in this story, because you see that's him, and he's technically been dead for weeks. And there's like one Lovecraftian creature in the ice, and he's trying with an ice pick to get him out. And of course, saying all the things like he's going to come. Bruce gets attacked by weird Lovecraftian penguins. They look a little fucked. He shoots his gun, scares them away, and Mr. Freeze here tries to hit him, but he knocks him out and takes him back to the ship. And then, just as a safety measure, he takes explosives and puts them where that creature in the ice is. Better safe than sorry. And then he decides that they're going to head home. They're going to head home, back to Gotham. So, so it's been 20 years since Bruce has been to Gotham. So again, it's like the origin story of Batman here and Lovecraftian. So Batsy, in the same way, his parents were walking around. He was walking around with his parents, and then they got murdered by, but this time not a mugger, but some crazy man with a knife, which explains why here Batsy has no problem with guns. So yeah, and his mother tells him to run, and he runs. So that's what happens here, and then I don't know. It says to him it's coming, and he comes across bats when he runs up to I think a church tower. Anyway, it's been 20 years. He tells the captain he's gonna go home. He returns to Gotham with the boys. He decides to keep Mr. Freeze in the ship, on the ship, sorry. And Jason makes him kind of like a freeze suit with that then technology. Bruce has some like cool gadgets here with the technology of the 1920s. I mean, that's some cool shit. Anyway, he tells Jason to stay on the boat with the guy. They're not going to tell anyone about it yet. Then he tells Alfred to take them home. So they drive to Wayne Manor. It's all, well, obviously, it's been there in 20 years. They need to air it out. Alfred, Dick, and Tim are there. Yeah, they're airing out everything, and then I think it's Tim tells him, "Mr. Wayne, there's someone's ahead of us here, and there's a man sitting dead on a chair, and he is Menbat in here. That's Menbat." And like, what's going on? And then Etrigan appears, or Jason Blood appears, and he tells Bruce, "Come with me. I'll tell only you all of this." So then he goes and tell him that the thing is coming, that he's going to have to be the one to stop it, and in order to do that, he's going to have to rip Gotham's heart out, and he's the only one that can do it. And there's four things that he needs to know in order for that. And after he tells him, he hops out. As he tells him, he's transforming to Etrigan, and then he hops out of the window, breaks and hops out, and Bruce like, "Son of a," that's that's a Mike Mignola staple right there. Hellboy does that a lot. Says "son of a," but never says the bitch part. Then Alfred appears and tells him that Oliver Queen has sent a dinner invitation. And Bruce says, "Yeah, I'll go find the boys something to wear." So he goes to see Oliver. He thought Oliver died a few years ago. He's a hunter, and he was attacked by a bear that he was hunting, but he survived. And so, and that's it. We also got Harvey Denton here. He's running for mayor, but in here he's not. Doesn't go loony and becomes Two-Face. Not like that. So yeah, he tells him Jim Gordon's now the high investigator now in the police, and they talk about him, and then he asks if they could stay the night. Oh, and they also talk about Membat, or the researcher. So they stay the night. Bruce has a Batman costume, this costume suit. But it looks like the boys don't know about it, really. Because Dick gets concerned about Bruce, and he tells Tim after they're supposed to go to bed to go check on him. Tim goes, but all he finds is an open trunk. and Bruce gone. So Bruce goes out into the night to find where Man-Bat's rooms were, because Oliver has the address. He goes there. There's two corrupt cops and an investigator. They're trying to look for Man-Bat's money. Bruce goes in through the window, throws a bomb at them that puts them to sleep, and then inspects everything and sees that on the floorboard there's the same wood that was under Man-Bat's fingernails. He opens so he just had about enough time to open probably one of the floorboards, hide something before his killer came. So he opens it and he grabs his papers. More police arrive, but Batman's already gone. And then he sits down and reads what he wrote. It's about his research and how he was able to talk to bats, basically. And they told him all sorts of things. And they told him the doom is coming to Gotham, and things are about to turn really bad, really fucking bad. And then there was this book. So I think it's like here. This would be like the Necronomicon. So there's also that story about that prophet who went crazy and wrote all of it. So the book is in the possession of another man. Batman goes to where he is. Like, this is really cool. He goes up on a telephone pole, or what they have for telephone back then, and he plugs shit in, and he manages to call it through a headset. I was wondering, could they do that back in the day? Like, granted, I don't know how technology have worked, how fast it moved them, but perhaps they could. So he calls him and asks him about the book, and he says, "I don't know, I don't have it. It's a myth. Don't call here again." And of course, Batsy knows that he's lying. So he hangs up and he says, "Man, Bat, you fool." He calls him by his name, but I forgot it already. I'm shit with names. All right, he goes to his library there in his office, and he pulls a rope, and it opens a secret compartment. Then opens a secret compartment, and inside is the book. And he's like, you think I wouldn't destroy it if I could?" And he takes the book, and then appears a woman. It's Talia al Ghul. She says, "Oh, hello, I need the book back now, or I'm here to take the book." And he's like, "No, no." And she said, "Wait, I still have a need for you." And she doesn't kill him right away. She has this bottle, or there's ceramic bottle. She opens it, and a little red lizard comes out and flies into his ear. And it's a genie that she trapped, and he takes over the man's body and turns into, well, the genie here. Oh, and then Batman goes inside the office as well to get the book. Oh, and before that, you see Jason Blood says things are gonna go really bad for Batsy. This is more than he can handle. I can interfere once at least, so I'll do it now. So then he's running. So Batman faces Talia, and he's like, "Give me that book." And she tells the genie to attack him. Of course, what's Batman gonna do? But then Etrigan arrives, and he knows this genie, and then they start fighting, and he tells Bruce to go. Meanwhile, Talia already left, and she's got like a frog guy, like the ones from Seed of Destruction with her, sort of like that. And she's leaving with him, and Batman finds her, and he said, "Come on, lady, if you think I won't shoot, I will. Give me the book." But then the Frogman knocks him out, And Talia tells him, "Wait, I've changed my mind. Don't kill him." And he opens a sewer or a manhole, throws Batsy inside. There's a ship waiting down there, and then he lowers Talia with him. And she says to her servants or to her slaves, "I like him, treat him well." And then she tells the frogman that he still has a job to do, so he better go. And then she moves away. And then, just a second, there's a lot here. Let me just uh-huh. Just make sure. I can't wait to show you the art in here. Okay. All right. Then yeah. Then it's the morning, and people on the dock see that something happened to the Wayne ship, and it's private property, of course. Gordon's there, and it's all frozen, and they're like, "What's going on?" But then, before anyone can do anything, Oliver Queen arrives with Tim and Dick, and they're looking, and Dick said, Gordon knows it. It's like, "Dickie boy, look how grown up you were." That's interesting. Bruce hasn't been there in 20 years, but I wonder when he left. Since Bruce, well, since he knows Bruce and knows Dick Grayson, and if he knew him as a child. Well, I guess in here, instead of being 25, Bruce is probably much older, most likely, and has left with Drake. Sorry, as Drake has left probably with Dick Grayson with him. I've wondered about that, but yes. So Dick says, "No, no, it's fine. I'm gonna go by myself to look what's going on there." He takes a gun with him and goes. He's like noisy cops and nosy cops. He gets to the boats like Jason, because Bruce called him before he went after the book to tell him to go check on Jason. He goes in, everything's frozen, and Jason has died freezing. And then there's the refrigerator, or the Mr. Freeze there saying, he died quickly. You're not gonna be so lucky. And then Frogman appears, and then there are shots from the ship. And Gordon's like, "Ah, shit." So then the police gets in there, and they see the carnage after, and Mr. Freeze and Frogman are of course gone. And then Tim pushes his way through, even though Gordon says keeps the youngster away. And he says, "Son, we really need to know where Mr. Wayne is." And Tim's like, "I don't know, sir. He went out the window from Mr. Queen's apartment. I haven't seen him since. He could be anywhere now." And we go down to where Bruce Wayne is, where there's Batsy. But in here, I guess he doesn't really call himself Batman, so I'm not sure even how he decided to come up with the suit. Maybe because of bad influence when he was a child. Because bats, he came across bats then too. So Bruce wakes up, he's chained to some pipes. Talia is there, and he's like, "Who are you?" And then she tells him her story. So her father would travel, Ra's al Ghul, and then he found. I think this is the story of the Lost City, like in Lovecraft. This is the Lost City. He came in there. He found like the lizard people there, and he used his dark magic to learn their secrets. I guess reanimated some corpses. And he wrote all of that down in a book, and he's been down there for a year. And then he left. And he had the book basically, and it gave him powers and everything. Then what happened to him? I think Talia said that he didn't die. No, I don't think he was killed. I guess it kept him. And I think he was killed then perhaps. Yes, I remember now. He was walking the streets, and then the men came and killed him out there in the streets with his book. Yeah, basically, ripped him to shreds and burned him. And all Talia got from him was his ashes and the book. And then Talia used the book. She used it to trap a genie or a jinn, and it kept her from dying because she's very old at this point. And she was also Egyptian too. I mean, they were Egyptians. So then, now it kept her from dying, but eventually they did bury her in a sarcophagus. And when she awoke, 100 years, I think she said later, all the in a robbed tomb, all there was left was her father's ashes, but the book was taken. So since then, she had to search for it, and now she's finally found it. And she and Ra's al Ghul are going to set in motion the entry for the, Lovecraftian Cthulhu to come into the world. And so she performs the ritual, and Batman tells her not to do it, but she performs it, and she summons back Ra's al Ghul. Oh, also, Batman needs to, in order to save the city, needs to shed his skin, and Bruce Wayne needs to die, and he needs to become what he truly is. So that's there. Then, yes, so Raz reincarnates, comes back, and he done well, daughter. And then he sees Batman. He says, and Talia said, "Please don't kill this one, father." And he's like, "You like him, daughter?" And he said, "How do you would you live as a slave?" So that's probably the only way Talia could keep him. And Bruce says, "No." I thought so. And then Bruce, while this was happening, he filed off his cuffs, and he's free now. And he's just said, "You're resourceful. Well, I'll give you a death, an honorable death." And then he summons the frogs and lizards and snakes and everything, and sends them on Batsy. And then up top in Gotham, say things are fucked. There's frogs, lizards, iguanas, snakes everywhere. Things are going nuts. Meanwhile, Harvey promises as the mayor that he'll change everything. He has this trick with the coin because one side is all burnt and destroyed, and that's old Gotham, and he's gonna make it into the shiny side. That's gonna be his new Gotham. So yeah, for 3 days things are bad. Alfred doesn't know where Batman is, or sitting and listening. Tim's still with Oliver Queen. Things are up top. It's a disaster there. But then after 3 days, all the lizards and frogs go away. Harvey Dent becomes the mayor, and he's like, "Let's hope now I can, do this. Yeah, become the mayor that they expect me to." So that's with that. Then we got Oliver Queen. Or Tim wakes up one morning and he goes up. And no, before that, we see Batsy crawling out of the sewer. Somehow he's still alive. He's not sure how, because, all the snakes, of course, probably would poison him to death. But he looks worse for wear, but he's still alive. Crawls out of the sewer. Then Tim wakes up in the mornings, like, "Mr. Queen, are you here?" And he goes searching in the rooms. Then he finds him in one of the rooms dressed up as a knight. And there's a portrait of a saint that he's praying to, and he didn't notice it was already morning. Oh yeah, and before that, we got Ra's al Ghul. Mr. Freeze is brought before him because Mr. Freeze had been planted with a seed by the Lovecraftian monster, and he needs the seed. Ra's al Ghul needs it because that'll be the key that'll open the door. And he doesn't know how to give it. And at first, Mr. Freeze not sure, but he says, "Yes, I've been given a seed." So then the frog monster comes behind him and he tears his suit. And Mr. Freeze, I guess, didn't expect to be killed and said, "Help me, master." Then the seed is taken, and with the water that's coming out of Mr. Freeze, it grows into poison ivy, which is just really cool. Of course, she's not called that. And yeah, but before all this, she goes and now she's in the shape of a woman, and she shakes Harvey Dent's hands, saying she believes in him, and that way gives him the rush to start the portal. Yes, he goes to the doctor and he tells him, "Oh, it's probably poison ivy, perhaps, and stress. Use this ointment and see me in 3 days." Well, that's that. And then we got the Batsy crawling out of the sewer, and then we're back to Oliver. And there was this saint, and Oliver has kept his arrows, or the arrows that killed him, because they have his blood, and that'll help him because he believes it is destiny. He'll be the one to save Gotham. So and then, but then Poison, he said, "I don't know what I'm waiting for, but I'll know it when I'll see it." And outside of his penthouse apartment, we see Poison Ivy going in the streets, and then she reaches the building, sheds her clothing, and climbs up in plant form. And she breaks through the window. Oliver's like, "Son of a," and then he's grabbed and she breaks his neck. Before that, she says, "You're not the one." Then Tim is there and he runs to get a sword, but the plants overtake him. But fear not, Batsy in that moment breaks in. And he's like, "Let go of him." He goes into the fireplace, grabs a log in his bare hands, not even feeling it, and then like pushes into Poison Ivy, and she gets killed. Or yeah, it gets killed, and Tim is free. And he's like, "Master Bruce, it's you." And then Bruce says, "I'm sorry, Oliver," or poor Oliver. And then Tim shows him the arrows that Oliver was going to use. Bruce takes them, and then they leave. And then we're like, I guess later, Bruce is standing above the grave of Jason and Dick. He's like, "You had good lives. I raised you, and you died fighting. I'm very proud of you. Now rest." And Tim says, "I think we have to take Mr. Wayne away from here before anyone sees him, because he's still in that condition. Is, I guess, no longer really alive anymore, but also, or I'm not even sure what to call his state. His skin is all gray and it looks worse for wear." And Alfred's like, "Yes, I agree." He's like, "Come along now, Master Bruce." But then Gordon arrives with Barbara. I said, "My daughter wants to speak to you, with you." So something happened to Barbara. They don't specify, and now she can. Well, she's confined in a wheelchair, and she can speak to the dead. And it's kind of like Steve Hawking was. She's got this thing in her throat, and she can somehow talk through that. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, she tells him, "I've got two spirits here. One's thanking you for taking on its burden." I think that's probably she means Oliver. And then the other one is wants to meet you in the old Hall of Justice and speak to you tonight. So that's it. Barbara and Commissioner Gordon leave. Then later that evening, Bruce goes to the old Hall of Justice. Sorry, sirens. The old Hall of Justice. He's there, and Barbara's there. I don't know how the fuck she arrived, but yeah, she said I used to have a beautiful singing voice, but it's a small price to pay to be the voice for the dead. And then she uses her ability, and then the ghost of the man who had the book of that professor starts speaking to Bruce. And then we learn the truth about all of this is that 300 something years ago, he, Menbat, and uh, Bruce's dad and Oliver's dad, they were alive back then. They came to America from, I think, Britain. They wanted to. Gotham was, nothing back then still, and they wanted to build it into something prosperous and, of course, become wealthy and powerful from it. And then they met this little man, this evil little man who claimed to be a warlock. And he said, come with me. And on a particular night, he took them down. He took them somewhere in the forest and down into the earth. And they left their horses and their souls up there, as he says. And all four of them went down with him, and he performed some rituals, and they participated, and things were done. But then they turned their rage at themselves for what they've done towards him and beat him black and blue. And then they buried him there, basically. They left. And of course, as time went by, the progress hid their crime. And they became rich and powerful and also, I guess, immortal. Because they've gotten married, had children, but they haven't aged a day. And the decades went by, and the things were as they were. And then Bruce, not Bruce, sorry, Thomas Wayne and Oliver's father, they decided they want to have proper families again. So they married and had, and then Bruce was born and Oliver was born. But yeah, there's still, it was their sin that made all of this. Now, Menbat's father, or it was still, yeah, Menbat's father, or the ancestor anyway, couldn't handle this. He tried to find solace in religion and couldn't, and he killed himself. He hung himself. And Oliver's dad has lost his mind slowly, and he was the one who killed Thomas Wayne and his wife. And why he didn't kill Bruce, he didn't know. The man didn't know. And yeah, so that's what it all started with. The sins of the father are piled up on the son. So that's where it all came from, and it was all buried, I think, under the old Hall of Justice, perhaps. And so that's that heart of Gotham. And he says there's only you. Did he tell him only? Yeah, only he can stop it. So that was the story. That's how it all happened. Then he goes back into Barbara, or leaves her body. And then there's like a big boom, and then there's destruction and all of justice. The ground opens. Bruce, Batsy goes down there. Barbara obviously stays there. Oh, and while this is happening, Talia al Ghul goes to Harvey Dent. It's been 3 days, and half of his body is now all mutated and Lovecraftian like. And he's like, she says, "Come on, Harvey Dent, you have a thing to do." He said, like, "No, kill me, leave me alone." And she says, "Not yet. You have a job to do. You have a task to do." And she takes him with her. When Bruce goes down there, there's and he asks, "So what about the Frogman? Did he die?" And he said, "No." And this warlock is the Frogman. So he's been trapped under there, and he's been eating what was there and drinking the putrid water. And eventually, it took him, and he became Ra's al Ghul's slave. So he's down there. He takes the arrows from Oliver, and Frogman attacks him, but Batsy fights him off and defeats him. Jesus, more sirens. He pushes him. He pushes him back, and the ceiling crumbles on him, and finally he's dead. Then Batsy keeps going forward and finds Harvey. Poor Harvey's there. Half of his body is now a portal, and or the door basically, and the other half is still human. He's slipping his coin, and he's like, Bruce, you have to do something. And then he throws Bruce his coin, and he says, "Good luck." And Bruce tells him, "I'll see you soon, Harvey." Poor Harvey's like his human side is crying a bit. He goes through the door. There are Talia and Ra's al Ghul performing the ceremony. You got two guards with them that turn into werewolves, sort of. Bruce uses two of the arrows on them. And then the last one is for Ra's al Ghul. And then Ra's turns and he says, "You, but how?" And then it doesn't matter anymore. It is too late. I've already done it. He starts to fight him. He says, "Now I have the power. I have these powers now of the Lovecraftian creature." And then he starts using them. He fires at Bruce, but Bruce, instead of dying, now finally transforms into a Batman. He's now a bat, a full-sized bat, and he's like, "That's it." He shed Bruce Wayne. He killed him, and now he's his true form. Oh yeah, and also what was this? And some other point, I think when he meant Talia. Oh yeah, when he was tied up down there, she showed him that Etrigan has been captured because her gene comes back, and he's now free, and he goes back to hell. Right. So and then he fights Ra's al Ghul. He's fighting him. He's like the son of the Lovecraftian monster. He says. And then, but he's not him, Bruce tells him, and they're equally matched. Talia's like, there's gotta be something that'll tip the scales. She goes to the book to maybe try to do something, but it burns her, and she yells to her father. But then the Lovecraftian tentacles start to come up and they grab her. She's doomed. Bruce keeps fighting, and he grabs the book and then shoves it with the arrow into Ra's al Ghul, and that's it. He is now dead. And Talia is being grabbed, and she says, "Father, Master, help me!" But too late for her. And then things start to shake. The bottle that holds Etrigan breaks, falls and breaks, and Etrigan is free. And he says, "You've done well, Bruce Wayne, and I told you that if you survived, you would get to see me in my true form, or in my full form, my full powers." And so he begins to grow bigger. The Lovecraftian monster has risen up, and he's said, "I've been put here centuries ago in order to send you back to your prison." And so he shoots at him with all his power, and Bruce Wayne, as quickly as he can, flies out of there. Oh, and also Etrigan tells him, you paid a great price for saving everyone, saving Gotham. Bruce flies out of there, barely makes it. Harvey is, the door's now closed and Harvey's almost dead. And he tells her, "That's it, Harvey, it's all over." And Harvey tells him, keep my legacy, Bruce. Make Gotham City better. And that is it. Then 6 months later, Gotham City is being rebuilt. Outside of Wayne Manor, Tim is standing by a microphone and talking to the press, telling them that it's official. The Wayne Foundation is going to rebuild Gotham fully with the blessing of Harvey Dent. Continue on the legacy. And one reporter asks, "Hey kid, and Alfred's next to Tim. Where is Bruce Wayne?" And he said, "Well, Mr. Wayne, as you know, has been injured in the fire and has decided to retire from public life. But he wants to give a statement that if he's ever needed, he will come. He will be there to help." And then we see in Wayne Manor, it's like closing close to a window and gets closer. And then we see inside Bruce, and you better hope to God that you will not need me to come back one day. And that is it. That's the end of the story. Whew, that was long. Okay. Yeah, I was still summarizing it all. Okay, let me show you now some art. I love this art style. Reminded me a bit of Mike Manola. You see, there's Mr. Freeze there. There's the fucked up penguins. Oops. Oh man, something must have happened. There's old Cobblepot. I wonder what happened to him. You see, there's all of them. There's the captain. Okay, there's Bruce. I see there's the boys. And there's Oliver Queen. Oh, shit. 1 second. And there's Frogman there. So yeah, fantastic art style. Fits really well to the story. It also looks great. Well, I love it so much because it reminds me of Mike Manola's art. Oh, should have went to the cover first. Yeah, well, we'll get to that. There's Ra's al Ghul fighting. There's Batsy now. He's a full bat. And he's fighting him, and Talia gets taken. Well, I gotta show you Etrigan here. Oh, there's Barbara. I guess this is her way of being the Oracle here. And I gotta show you old Etrigan. He also rhymes in this one. Ah, there we go. There's Jason Blood. There he is Etrigan. That was cool. Look at, I love this transformation here. That was cool. And then we got the. I think I can show you because there's Harvey. Poor Harvey Dent. Look at him. Poor bastard. Oh, there's Alfred. There's Alfred here. There's Brucey. Still not taking off the bat suit. And then let me just see, what did he say in the end there? There we go. And God help you all if you ever again have need of me. You see, he's over here. And there's Tim and Alfred. So that's the art style. Love it. And there's the cover. It's a Mike Manola cover. Love that composition. You see Gotham there. Some Lovecraftian tentacles. There's Brucey. And then Batsy, and the penguins, and Mr. Freeze. Love it. Looks fantastic. It really makes you feel the creepy atmosphere of the story. Okay, so now to the story. This was absolutely great. I loved it. It really combined well the Lovecraftian style of not Also, not everything being explained as well. Like some characters, you don't know what happened to them, and it kind of moves through the whole thing. But it, threw in all the Batman elements that were needed and all the Lovecraftian ones. And it's such a cool combination. And it also fits Batsy very well because he's a detective in his core. So him going through looking for all of this and being the only hope for Gotham, and being the one that needs to pay for the sins of his father in order to save Gotham. So yeah, I love this. I just read it all in one day because it was so fascinating for me to see how where this is gonna go. Is Betsy? Well, usually things don't end well in the horror stories, but I guess it ended with disaster being prevented. But what will happen later? And now the price that Batsy had to pay as well. Now he's fully a bat. And well, is that how he's going to be Batman? Well, of course not, 'cause this is an Elseworld story. Oh, this is just this, but for what it was absolutely great. All the characters integrated into this. This was just awesome. Of course, I was a little sad that Dick and Jason died, but well, I guess it was Saul was definitely bound to die here. So yeah, this has been just great. I loved it. Definitely something to reread, and I really love the Elseworld stories. I love what they do there. It's just so cool. All right, folks. So that is it. This has already been a long enough video. Let me know if you read Batman the Doom That Came to Gotham and what did you think about it if you did. Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know. And that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about, share it on YouTube. Bye!